Match number 33 of the Big Bash features the Melbourne Renegades and the Adelaide Strikers. Let's build our fantasy team on my 11 Circle Fantasy Pick on ESPNcricinfo. I'm Ranu Kapoor, and joining me shortly will be Michael Hussey. Right, let's go to our pro tip for this one. And it says that the Melbourne Renegades have now lost 7 consecutive matches this season. They're also missing key players in the form of Shaun Marsh and Riley Russo. So select loads of players from the Strikers. Let me go to Mike Hussey. It seems to be getting to that phase of the league like we were last season, Huss, where you just need to pick your fantasy teams with whoever is playing against the Melbourne Renegades.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been a bit of a horror show for the Renegades. Has gone right, and you're right. They've lost a couple of key batsmen there with Riley Rousseau and Shaun Marsh. Poor old Aaron Finch, he just can't seem to get a run at them either. He was run out at the bowler's end in one game and then caught down the leg side for a golden duck in the last game. So nothing going right. They seem like they're investing in the youngsters now as well. So I think you're probably right. The Strikers should win this, and they should win it comfortably, but you never know in T20 cricket.
Yep, and let's see who we managed to squeeze in those at least 4 Renegades players. Is what you need as per fantasy rules. So let's see how we can balance our team out. Let's go to some player availability news. We've already mentioned that Shaun Marsh is his availability is in doubt given he's with his family for the birth of his child. Riley Russo is out due to injury, but do check in closer to the toss to confirm final team news from both sides. On the My 11 Circle Fantasy app, 100 credits for every user to build their fantasy team. 4 categories of players to choose from: batsmen, bowlers, wicket-keepers, and all-rounders. You can pick a maximum of 7 players from one team in any given contest. Every player's individual credit value is listed on the app, and we'll throw in 4 substitute options for you towards the end of this video as well. Our captain choice for this one is going to be Alex Carey. We know the Adelaide Strikers' leading run scorer in BBL 10 is Alex Carey with 216 runs in 6 innings. He averages a staggering 36.5 at the Adelaide Oval. Not bad for T20 cricket, and having scored nearly 700 runs in 20 innings there. He's also effected 9 dismissals behind the stumps. That's the most in this edition of the Big Bash, so those are always likely to give you additional points. Jake Weatherald is our vice captain recommendation. He is one of the more prolific scorers in the league. An indifferent start to this year's Big Bash, but he's found his form in recent games. Scores of 34 and 51 in his last couple of outings, and he's been asked to bat in the middle order, but he is the top run scorer at this venue with 848 runs in 28 innings. Alex Carey is captain, Jake Weatherald is vice captain. They give you double and 1.5 times the points respectively, so pick them very carefully. In our top picks, Mohammad Nabi features. He is the number 1 ranked T20I all-rounder, and he's had a few forgettable games this Big Bash, but with the Renegades missing out on key batters, he's expected to step up given all his experience. He's got points with runs and wickets, so make sure you keep Mohammad Nabi in. Rashid Khan is compatriot here as well for the Adelaide Strikers against a team that has had 4 collapses in 8 games, scores of 60, 80, 89 and 111. Expect Rashid Khan to have a good day against the Melbourne Renegades. He's already picked up 12 wickets at an average of under 18 in this edition of the Big Bash. Imad Wasim features as well. Now, ever since his debut, he's been the best spinner for the Renegades, picking up 5 wickets in 4 games, average of just over 22, and he's shown he can also get you some points with the bat, and he is one of the few Renegades players we are going to back in this one. Alex Carey is captain, Jake Weatherald is vice captain, Mohammad Nabi, Rashid Khan and Imad Wasim wrap up our top picks. Haz, what do you make of those?
Yeah, I don't mind them, Ronak. I think they're good picks. I'd still be tempted to make my captain Rashid Khan. He's just an unbelievable player. He's got this knack of picking up wickets. He's in the hot spots in the field. Plus, he can come in and do some damage with the bat late on as well. So it's hard to go past the best T20 bowler in the world at the moment. So I'd still be tempted with that. All
right, let's go to some differential picks, shall we? And we've got a couple of Adelaide Strikers players again, no surprise. Phil Salt, first up. The short boundaries on the sides of the Adelaide Oval will suit Phil Salt is what we believe. He plays his pull shots exceptionally well, scored 183 runs in 73 balls in this year's Big Bash and 252 runs in 11 games at this venue. Wes Agar is there as well, the leading wicket taker in this edition of the Big Bash League. He's impressed everyone, has Wes Agar, with his wicket-taking abilities. 14 wickets in 8 games, average of just under 17, and prolific in particular in the middle overs with the ball. He's picked up 10 wickets there, which is the most in this year's Big Bash. Phil Salt and Wes Agar in our differential picks. Our full team sees Alex Carey and Sam Harper as keeper options. We recommended Carey as captain, but Mike Hussey is very keen on Rashid Khan, so consider that as well. Phil Salt, Jake Weatherald. We're still going to put Aaron Finch. We're struggling for 4 Renegades players, like I said. Mohammad Nabi, Imad Wasim, Rashid Khan, Peter Siddle, Wes Agar, Kane Richardson wrap up our side. Substitutes bench, Matt Renshaw, Jonathan Wells, Mackenzie Harvey, and Jack Prestwich. Now, do any of those make your team? Huss, I'll ask you in a second. We're throwing in some alternate scenarios. Maybe Mackenzie Harvey, who scored a nice little 29 ball 34 in the last game for Sam Harper, is one possible alternate scenario. It's a Renegades for Renegades swap. And also Jack Prestwich potentially for Kane Richardson. Do any of those alternate scenarios tempt you?
I'd probably consider Mackenzie Harvey. Actually, he's going to open the batting. He's a brilliant fieldsman. Aaron Finch has actually said he thinks he's the best fieldsman in the world. So he's going to be in the hot spots. Chance for run-outs, chance for catches along the way. I thought he looked pretty good the other night when these two teams met. I'd still stick with Kane Richardson. I think he's a quality performer. He bowls the difficult overs. He always seems to pick up a couple of wickets, although Jack Prestwich has done a pretty good job. But no, I'd stick with the experience of Kane Richardson.
All right, Mike Hussey, thank you very much. Plenty more coming from you as the Big Bash continues to roll on. And of course, do check in with team news, like I said, after the toss for the latest availability of players, and pick only those playing in both sides in your side. That wraps up this edition of My 11 Circle Fantasy Pick on ESPN Cricinfo.